Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and also the likes button. And if you're returning, hit the likes button and the bells button. The bells button, you'll know when I upload a video. Come on people, help me get to 250 this week of subscribers. What are you waiting for? If you've passed through here and you keep clicking on the channel, obviously you love it. Hit the subscribe button. And thank you all for all of the new subscribers. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for joining. Today, we're going to talk about this case. If you haven't heard about it, it's the Manta Bot case. It's about a young woman that was unalived by her husband. And back in July 31st, she went missing. A young pediatric nurse just had a baby and went missing. The husband took 3 days to report her missing. It actually took her coworkers to report her missing. She didn't show up for work, so they asked the police to do a welfare check. When going out to the home to do the welfare check, the husband said that she was gone to visit her relatives, and he said either in New York or I believe California, somewhere. And she left the baby with him. Strange, because why would a newly mother of a 1-year-old leave the baby and go and visit her relatives? It would seem that the relatives would want to see the baby. I would never, as a new mother, leave a new baby with my husband and go and visit my relatives without the baby, knowing that my relatives would probably want to see the baby. It turns out that all of her relatives lived in totally different states. And he'd never once showed any kind of concern or anything like that about her missing. 3 days later, he reported her missing. There was abuse going on in the relationship, in the marriage. She did leave before for a long period of time because they were having issues in the marriage throughout their marriage. And so she did leave because he was physically abusive. And as I've said before, from experience, if someone is abusive in the beginning, if they hit you once, and as my mom always told me, and I never listened, they will hit you again. That goes along with emotional abuse as well. They always, say, oh, we're not going to do it again, or they apologize time and time again. And you always want to give them a second chance because they come with roses, teddy bears, or whatever. And unless they are willing to get help, therapy, or some sort of help to really work on the relationship, to fix that relationship, it's not going to be fixed. So they can bring you chocolates, they can bring you flowers, they can bring you roses, they can do whatever. But unless they get help from a professional, it's not going to change. And they will more than likely do it again. So, like most of us, Manta, I think, and I hope I'm pronouncing her name right, Manta, wanted to fix this relationship. So she went back. She left twice, and then she went back. And she told her friends at work, as we will hear, that, he was abusive. And the night that she went, the last night before they heard from her, She did try to call one of her coworkers, but the coworker missed her call. And she was really good about, showing up for work. She worked at a pediatric hospital. She was a nurse. I believe, if I didn't say that, she was a nurse. And I want to say this too. If you've heard this story and you don't want to hear it again, you can go ahead and click off. I like to tell the story on my channel and for my subscribers. But anyway, she was good about going to work. She worked 2 days a week at this hospital. And so I say that to say this. It's good that she kept to her pattern. And I always say it's always good to have a pattern. It's always good to stick to your pattern and to be, to stick to your pattern, because if she didn't say, she was a person that always called in, and this was just another day, another week, she didn't show up. So, she didn't show up for work. So it's like, oh, well, she'd called in again. So they, no one would bother to check on her. So say, she was a person it was just like, okay, here, Monta goes again. She's calling in, so be it. And nobody bothered to check on her. She would have been missing and no one would have ever known about it, unless her family, would have said, oh, I haven't heard from her in a while. Let's, something's going on. We better see what's, going on. But these coworkers knew that she had always shown up for work for her shift every week, like clockwork. So they sent the police to do a welfare check and, were very concerned about her. And they had known that her husband had, abused her and was very, mean. So let's get into the story. And since then, developments have come in that he has been arrested and held for the unaliving of Monta. So I'm going to share the video with you all. This one, yes.
21. She lived in Manassas Park, Virginia, in a nice home on a nice cul-de-sac. The perfect place to start raising a family with her husband, Naresh Bhatt. Mamta worked as a pediatric nurse at Prince William Medical Center. In August of 2023, Mamta gave birth to a baby girl, the couple's first child. Mamta went back to work, and early in 2024, there were some marital issues for the couple, and Mamta moved out of the house for a short while before returning. Then, on August 1st, when Mamta did not report to work and no one could contact her, co-workers asked for a welfare check to be done. Police went to the house and spoke with her husband. Then 3 days later, he finally reported her missing. Then weeks later, investigators raid their house and arrest Naresh for concealment of a body after finding lots of evidence in that home, including blood. Tonight, we'll bring you all the latest information revealed in court today as the search for Mamta continues. I'm Vinny Politan. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Not great news, not at all, in the case of missing mom, Mamta Koffly, out of Northern Virginia. When I think of her, the first thing that comes to mind to me is that she was a new mom. And this is a mom who was all in. This little baby girl was her life. This was the focus of her life. Absolutely no doubt, no question. No question.
for this young mother. So when she missed her daughter's first birthday, it's not just red flags. It's obvious that something happened. She is not going to go off somewhere and miss that little girl's first birthday. There's no way. There's no way possible. That is, to me, it's beyond a reasonable doubt that there's no chance she would miss voluntarily that little girl's first birthday. And I think you talk to most parents, right? The overwhelming majority of parents. That's a big birthday, the first birthday. A lot of times it's sometimes when they take their first steps at the first birthday, but it's a huge, huge milestone, a huge day. And you've been caring for this child for a year, this little baby, and now the baby's a year old. Not gonna miss that celebration. So that's a huge beyond red flag. The other beyond huge red flag is her husband, who is waiting to report her missing. And he can have all the stories about her moving out, etc. But every time it was different. It was under different circumstances. Other times when she left, when they were having problems or difficulties, he knew where she was, and everyone else in her world knew where she was. And she had the baby. So that's an enormous red flag that you're not quite ready. And he's not even the one who initially calls police, by the way. So that brings us to the raid of the house, which was caught in images from USA 9. And everyone's wondering what happened inside that house. What happened inside that house? And today we learned a lot more because details are starting to come out, because Mamta's husband, Naresh Bhatt, appeared in court today for his arraignment on one felony count of concealing a dead body. That charge came after police executed a search warrant at his home earlier this week and found evidence of blood in the house. Naresh Bhatt was arrested on Thursday. ABC 7 News in Arlington, Virginia was able to capture these images of Bhatt being taken into custody. Now, in the criminal complaint that was filed against the husband, it read in part, handwritten, there it is, there was evidence in the residence indicating the body was inside the residence and dragged out of the residence. And that's the basis of these charges of concealing a body. A body was there, there's evidence that's being dragged. And it's likely coming from blood, and there's perhaps other evidence there as well. So I want to understand a little bit more. No cameras inside this courtroom, okay? We're in Northern Virginia. Virginia, sometimes cameras are in, sometimes they're not. They were in for Johnny Depp's civil case, weren't in there for this case, but I want to bring a couple special guests closely connected to this case and to Mamta. Joining me, Mamta's former co-worker, Holly Worth, is with us. And Mamta's nurse and mentor friend, Sunita Basnet, is with us as well. Thank you both for being here. Holly, I understand you were in court today. Is that true?
Yes, I was. And I was in the second row. Yes, it was true.
Okay. Describe for the people at home, because we didn't have cameras not permitted. Describe for the people at home what prosecutors indicated some of the evidence that they found in that house. What did they see? What did they uncover?
Yeah, thank you. I'm happy to speak on that. I will share that the volume of evidence that was disclosed by the Commonwealth attorneys was staggering. I don't think any of us expected that volume of evidence to be disclosed. As you described, they talked about the evidence of dragging, but more importantly, the volume of blood that they described as large pools of blood in the master bedroom, with evidence of dragging then into the master bathroom. So much blood that when they did the Blue Star testing, they said the entire bathtub lit up. In fact, they disclosed they actually removed the master bathroom bathtub and saw evidence of seepage of blood behind the caulking of the bathtub. So significant amount of evidence that something very horrific occurred to Mamta in that residence.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting this either, because understanding where we are and how this investigation has progressed, it was rather shocking that this was uncovered. Sunita, this is a difficult day, I know, for everyone who cares so much about Mamta. I wanted to get your reaction to today's developments and the arrest of her husband.
First of all, thank you so much for inviting me, having me here to be Mamta's voice. And it was pretty shocking, the person dear to you and, used to, spend long time and had emotional attachment, and, she's in news and having all this, very uncertainty, and took like 23 days, it is pretty shocking. And I'm like proud of the mission we have done to find her. And, I'm thankful to the authorities. Finally, they were able to capture the suspect. And also, I'm very sad and frustrated, not bringing her back, till now. We don't even know if she is, we cannot declare she is dead, she is alive or not. That is a big frustration, like within me. And I think like all the communities, all the people are asking, like what is exactly happening, how should we process, all this emotional roller coaster. And it looks pretty scary. It is very sad day, in my life.
Absolutely. And I know everyone is thinking about that little 1-year-old tonight. Holly, what else? Describe, first of all, the scene inside the courtroom, what you observed in terms of the people there, the defendant now, Mamta's husband. What did you notice?
Yeah, I think first I have to say a kudos to the community. There was a fairly large contingency of community members from the Nepali community and others who don't know Mamta but came to show solidarity. Like I said, I was in the second row sitting directly behind Mr. Bhatt. He was in his jail attire with leg shackles, which I will say was something that actually made me very happy to see. He did have the public defender with him, as well as a translator for the Nepali language. He didn't really say very much, but of note, when his defense attorney requested consideration for bail, that opened the door for the Commonwealth to share a lot of this evidence that had been yet to be released to the public. And as you touched on, very damning evidence about the lengths that Mr. Bhatt has gone to conceal the activities that definitely point to harming Mamta in a very significant way. The courtroom, we were all astonished. We were obviously had to be quiet and respectful to allow the legal proceeding to continue. I can tell you there was silent crying. And when we walked out of the courtroom as a group, we really were stunned in silence. Again, the gravity of what we heard today well exceeded anything that we probably had imagined in our mind over these last 20 so days that we've been looking for Mamta.
And Holly, did they disclose any other evidence about potential weapons that were used, digital evidence, video evidence, or surveillance evidence in this case?
Yeah, and I think as bad as what was discovered in the home, the timeline that the Commonwealth attorneys provided about the actions of Mr. Bott, one, it demonstrated that the timeline that we thought was way off. They indicated that the attack occurred on August 30th, which doesn't align with what Mr. Bott had disclosed to the Manassas Park Police. They went on the record saying that on June 30th, Mr. Bott was seen out in a surrounding county, Loudoun County, which is quite a distance from where we live in Prince William County. Mamta's phone, the last activity on that was confirmed to be June 30th. Therefore, that's again where they
Okay, so he completely lied. So she was probably unalived on probably June 30th, July, not June. She said June. July 30th, between July 30th and July 31st. Because July 30th, I think, was when she actually called her friend. July 30th. Because July 31st is when she was reported missing. And that's when they sent the police to her home to do a welfare check. And then 3 days later, he reported her missing at that point. I'm going to go ahead and speed some of this up because then they have the friend that comes on and she just kind of talks about how, well, maybe I'll let you all watch it, but I do have to stop and do some commentary so that I won't get a copyright. But this is her coworker, and I believe the other one is another lady that worked at the hospital with her, that they became like the other lady was a big sister figure to her. And that was the one that she did share a lot of information about her husband being abusive.
thought the incident had occurred. I think equally shocking was 2 occurrences on Walmart that he was seen on CCTV, once buying 3 knives, that they have only been able to recover one of those knives. And on a second occurrence, again at a Walmart not near Prince William County, purchasing cleaning materials. So again, painting a picture of a man who committed some horrific act and then spent the rest of the days trying to conceal the evidence, not to allow the police to get on his trail, and spinning a very large web of lies, not only to the police, but also to his friends who were coming over to support him in his time of need, not realizing that he was actually complicit in a very serious crime.
Wow.
One of my favorite supplements is Cunol Turmeric. Turmeric helps with healthy joints and inflammation support, and Cunol has the #1 doctor recommended form of turmeric. Cunol, the brand I trust.
Welcome to Bovada, where every bet tells a story and every win writes history. Whether it's the heat of the sports arena, the rush of the casino, or the strategy of poker, we've got it all.
We'll let that play and I'll come back. But so anyway, this guy went to purchase the knives, and then just an all-out idiot, really. We'll continue.
No, that's
You're
okay.
right,
I just
June
want to make
30th.
sure.
Yes,
I want to
sir.
clarify
June
for everyone
30th.
watching.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Sunita, tell us a little bit about Mamta. Was there any indication that things were bad at home, that things were dangerous, that there was any violence or threat of violence at home?
Thank you for asking that question. Yes, she was domestic, like physical she was a victim of physical abuse. So she was like, very introvert, but like, first she tried to hide that. But later on, like after 2 months, and she shared that. And one day she came to work and she was crying, and like I explored her because like she was like a little sister to me, and she admitted that she had physical abuse. And I personally gave her, information and offered her to, come to me or go to shelter or, like just move forward, like stay away from him. But like she decided she is gonna give him one chance, and she's gonna go to family counseling. And so then I think she registered to, yoga class or something. Then, I've been keep on checking, and I alerted to my co-workers, if she comes with, some symptoms or she verbalized, we need to call. But she never, I don't know what was the factor holding her to take support, but that was holding her. And we tried to, give all the resources that she said she is in very love with this person and wanted to give him a chance. And she looked, I was like, keep on checking, like we were keep on checking. She looked very happy. And even, talking on the phone, she said her, relationship has been improved, and, like they were happy. But so this horrible incident happened. And she was the person, from the day first. I knew her very well. She was the person, she would never and ever runs away from her child or even from a family, and she would never, commit suicide or something. So we knew that, very much scary. That could be the reason, So we were we had to work very hard.
Holly, it speaks volumes about Mamta, the way the community has really come together and put pressure on police, obviously, put pressure on her husband. And, if the community doesn't do that, I don't know what happens here. I'm not sure what happens here, because it seems like he may have been ready to head back out of the country.
Yeah, you bring up a really excellent point that also was disclosed at the arraignment today. Again, the Commonwealth attorneys did share that there was evidence that Mr. Bott was planning to leave. They found suitcases with clothes packed in it. They commented in the master bedroom there were empty hangers that looked like there was packing in progress. Mr. Bott and his daughter's passports were in plain view when the search team entered into the home. To your point, this has been a grassroots effort from day one with not just Anita and myself, but a huge community of supporters who have been calling the media, asking the Prince William County Sheriff's Department, the Virginia State Police, the FBI to join with Manassas Park Police to put all available resources. As you're showing on the screen here, these are rallies that we've had with hundreds of people coming out to solicit the community for tips, but also to put pressure on the police department, because any day that went by was a day, one, that the daughter of Mamta was at risk, and that evidence was likely being destroyed. So I do feel that we've used our voice to at least get to the point where we have one charge that has Mr. Bott in custody, with the hopes that elevated charges will certainly come in the near future.
Yeah, I really think what's happening is they're holding him on this as they continue the investigation and obviously continue the search for Mamta, because she hasn't been found. Sunita, how about Mamta's family from Nepal? Have you had any contact with them? Do we know if they're in the loop on everything that's transpiring here? Because a lot has happened in the last.
Okay, so her family is from Nepal. And wow, he was getting ready to leave. So he was going to take the baby and disappear with the baby. And it probably would have been a long time before they found him. And can you imagine the little girl? They had a little girl growing up with that monster that just unalived her mom. So I'm so glad that they were able to get him before he was able to leave the country with this little girl. It is also sad that that little girl's not going to grow up with either parent. So she'll never probably ever know or remember her mom. And it's probably a good thing that she's not ever going to know her dad, who took her mom away from her. It's so unfortunate. And I say that because it's like, I don't understand what is so bad that you can't just get a divorce. I don't understand that when there's differences in a marriage, that men have to unalive, or women have to unalive their spouses, or they have to go out and cheat. If you are unhappy in a marriage, go your separate ways. Get the divorce. Don't go out and hurt the other person, because I think it's very hurtful to abuse or to cheat. Get the divorce, people. Get the divorce, because it hurts the other person when you do those things. And it's so much easier than to cause pain on another individual. So don't take someone's life over greed and selfishness. And definitely don't hurt someone by cheating. Don't. Just get the divorce. And he could have just simply gotten a divorce instead of unaliving her. I don't understand that. I don't understand it.
Last 24 hours.
Yes, absolutely. I am, directly in contact with them, to her brother and mother and her cousin who lives in New York, and right now she is in Nepal. And they are heartbroken. Like, they are very, very sad, and they had to struggle to even file a police report, because 30th July was the last time her mother, she used to talk to mother every day. And then according to her brother and mother, she would not take call. Then they were keep on calling, she would not take call. Then they called Mr. Vlad, and he did not answer. And they had to struggle. And he did not. He was saying she was at work. Then they had to, escalate that to the cousin, and cousin, reached him out, and he wouldn't answer. After 3 or 4 days, he responded that, and she was missing. And even after saying she was missing, he wouldn't go file the case. And brother had to request him very hardly. Even he mentioned that he had to call him guard. You are the guard of us, and please go file the police case. Then let us know with case number. Then with pressure from her cousin from New York, and case was already filed from work. Then he went and filed, because he had very strong pressure from family. But they are very sad at this moment. They are confused what to do, or they are not here, and they don't know whether their daughter was alive or not. I think according to the conference from police, it says like, dead body, and it declared, and they have not found her body yet. So they are in so much in pain. So they just want to come here and take care of our granddaughter.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's so incredibly frustrating and heartbreaking for that family. And then to not be here in the United States to, do everything that they feel needs to be done. Holly, what do we know about Naresh Bhatt? Do we know what kind of work he was doing, where he got his money from, what his situation was? Is there any indication or his history?
It's such an interesting question. I will say again, sitting in the courtroom today, watching him request support of a public defender, basically declaring he didn't have assets to be able to provide himself with attorney, I think was also kind of a gut punch for us. He has a beautiful home, beautiful community, as you shared, nice car, Tesla. He is a government contractor. His last post was at the White House, also Army reservist. So he did have education. He does have training, and he did have an income source, as well as his wife working as a registered nurse, also, getting compensated for her skill set. So, I think it'll be interesting to figure out, and this is just my assumption, what would be the financial things that have occurred that would have had him now saying he doesn't have assets. I find that hard to believe. He's done some interesting things as far as selling his Tesla 2 days ago. We've heard that the Commonwealth attorneys disclosed he was trying to actively sell his home. Whether that's liquidating assets or trying to get rid of evidence, I'm not really sure.
I think it's both. I think it could be both.
He was a hardworking man and had a career.
He did. Holly Worth, Sunita Basnet, really appreciate your time tonight. Thank you so much for providing some insight about Mamta and obviously what happened in court today. When we come back, we'll take a look at some of the evidence, bring in our investigators, plus coming up next hour.
Okay, interesting. So he sold his Tesla and was getting ready to, excuse me. I had to sneeze, excuse me. So he sold his Tesla and then he was getting ready to sell the family home. Wow. I think he was getting ready to sell the Tesla and he sold the Tesla so that he could head out because all of the clothes were packed and the daughter and as well as his passport was out. So that's one reason he was trying to get money. And the house being sold, again, trying to get money and probably to try to hide all of the evidence in the home. Now, this same guy, and which she'll probably bring it up, there was a family living down below, and I'm not for sure how the homes are built in Virginia because this was in Virginia. I don't know if they have a basement in the bottom or how that works. But they did have a lower level, and there was a family that was renting out a home. I mean, the bottom portion of their home, they were renting it from them. So I'm not for sure how that worked because they weren't aware that she was even missing until they seen flyers out and they seen her picture. And then they said, oh, wow, she's missing. So I'm like, was there any commotion that went on in the house? Did he take her somewhere else and do that? Because they also said that they found blood evidence in the home where she was drugged. He had drugged her. And there was a lot of evidence in the bathtub, which he's going to get to here in a minute, when they do the spray the stuff and the blue light came on and it was just a mounting of blood, even where she had coughed. You know, it was just a mountain of blood everywhere in that bathroom. So I'm wondering, they didn't hear anything? Are the walls just that good to where they just didn't hear anything? And evidently they didn't, because they said that they did not know that she was missing until they seen those flyers posted when they went out. And that's when they were, made aware that she was missing. This guy is impossible. He had a good job, and that's really scary that this individual worked at the White House. So that's a little scary. And he was a military guy. So that's also scary. So just a scary situation all the way around. Wow.
Tonight on Vinnie Politan Investigates, a young woman is offered 9
forensic pathologist, Dr. Priya Banerjee, and also joining us, retired DEA Special Agent Ted Golden. Thank you all for being here. I want to put up on the screen some of the evidence in this case, and a lot of it's troubling. It was very shocking to learn. This is from NBC4 in Washington. Prosecutors said there is evidence of pooling blood in the primary bedroom of the home, then blood and blood splatter in the primary bathroom. They said investigators found indications that a body was dragged. News 4 video shows investigators carrying what appears to be large swaths of rolled up carpet into a Prince William County police van. A lot of blood. Dr. Priya Banerjee, let me ask you, can you ascertain from the amount of blood that you believe you have found inside this home whether or not someone is alive or dead?
I don't think you can. I think we can say something very significant happened, obviously. Okay, there's a lot of blood. What we see, like an autopsy, when we think about blood loss, is what's left in the body and at the scene. Obviously, there's the missing component of what carpet could have been taken with her. We don't know how blood-soaked that is. But I think you can assume that there's significant blood loss in whatever injury she sustained.
One of my favorite supplements is Cunol Turmeric. Turmeric helps with healthy joints and inflammation support.
Now, I'm going to kind of fast forward through some of this stuff because we've been going on. Well, I have an hour, so we'll go on an hour. But they have not found the body. They don't know where the body is. Her mom or one of her relatives was on and said that they were looking to see, I guess he was saying that they were looking in a specific area to where the body might be. They have not found the body just yet. But he was arraigned. Well, there she is. Let's see.
They've got evidence, they believe, of the dragging outside. We know about that. You've got the blood in the bedroom and also in the tub. And they apparently took the tub as well from the bathroom and seized that as evidence. Does that tell you anything, Ted?
Well, it indicates that someone was seriously injured and that there's definite proof that the amount of blood may indicate that they were injured very seriously. You have to go work backwards, like I've told you before. You got to work backwards. Where's the carpet? What part of the house is it in? What other parts of the house did he drag her through to get her to the bathroom? If it's just in the bedroom, the bathroom is right next door, then you should be able to see the smear patterns of the blood if he just drug her into the bathroom. And then you got to also look at you pull his cell phone to find if you can track him wherever he went to dispose of the body. You look at who he may have called. Obviously, they got some video to show where he went and picked up some items that he used to clean things up. So all that stuff comes into play, and you got to put together a timeline of when you think it might have happened and how long it took him to do whatever he did. And that that kind of gives you an idea of how far back you got to go, and maybe even try to look at the area in which he may have disposed of the body. Or was he gone for 24 hours? Did he turn his phone off? Those kind of things.
Nima, I want you to take a look at this. NBC4 also reporting this, NBC4 in Washington. Police say they have video showing, as Ted told us, Naresh Bhatt at a Walmart purchasing cleaning supplies. He also went to Walmart in Prince William County and purchased a set of knives. 2 of those knives are now missing, prosecutors said. So we're looking at this case, concealment of a body, okay? That's not concealment of a live body. So why are we not talking about murder yet in this case?
Well, Vinny, it's not a
Okay, I'm going to stop sharing that one because I have one more video that I want to share. He's already been arrested and he's had his arraignment already. He is being held on. I don't think that he has a bond. So he's being detained. He's not going to be released. Let me share this other video here. Let's see this one.
So this week has been heartbreaking for a community in Manassas Park. We're learning horrific new details about the disappearance of a young mother, Mamta Kafel-Bhatt. Our Katie Lusso is here with me now to get us caught up on where this case stands. And Katie, we know the focus is now on Mamta's husband.
Yeah, and since day one, prosecutors told the judge there have been so many inconsistencies in the stories Naresh Bhatt has told police, from the timeline of when he last saw her to why he believed she was missing. That, combined with what they called disturbing evidence, is why tonight he remains behind bars. Mamta Kafel-Bhatt, a 28-year-old mother and pediatric nurse, loved to post on social media. In a Prince William County courtroom Friday morning, prosecutors told the judge she was very active on her TikTok. On July 28th, she posted this video of her daughter. Police say she also spoke to a friend that day, but then silence. Prosecutors say her friends and family became concerned, more so when she didn't show up to work on August 1st. On the 2nd, police went to her Manassas Park home for a welfare check, spoke with her husband, Naresh Bhatt, and say he told them he didn't want to report her missing because she was with family in New York or Texas. Prosecutors say she doesn't have family in the United States. They told the judge he also kept changing his story about when he last saw her. Talk to me about the last time you saw her.
In the evening of the Wednesday, we were here and then we ate together.
That would have been July 31st. He didn't file an official missing persons report, though, until August 5th. But fast forward to August 21st, police searched the home, and on August 22nd, they arrested Naresh. He hasn't been charged with murder, but rather concealing a dead body. Friday morning, prosecutors painting a gruesome picture of what they believe unfolded inside this home, saying they found evidence of large amounts of blood in the primary bedroom and bathroom, along with evidence that a body had been dragged out of the home. They also revealed that on July 30th, he bought 3 knives at a Walmart in Chantilly. 2 still haven't been found. They believe that's the day Mamta was killed. The next day, he bought cleaning supplies. Since then, prosecutors say he tried to sell his home. On Monday, he sold his blue Tesla seen in this video from when WUSA 9 originally tried to speak to him on August 12th. And when investigators searched the home on Wednesday, court documents reveal they found the house packed, his and his daughter's passports in plain sight. His daughter has been placed in the care of social services. Family friends tell WUSA 9 Mamta's mother has been granted an emergency visa to come to the U.S. from Nepal.
Yeah, so tough to listen to all those details, Katie. We know Naresh had his first court appearance today. So what happens next?
So his attorney called this case a media frenzy with no actual evidence, but the judge ordered that he be held with no bond. He does, though, have a bond hearing on Monday. We will be there bringing you updates as we get them. Lorenzo.
Yeah, I can't help but to think about their young daughter who is now without both of her parents. Katie, thank you. And tomorrow neighbors are gathering in Manta's honor. You'll find them at Signal Hill Park Pavilion in Manassas Park from 10 until noon. And you can find all of our coverage right now just by scanning.
So he will have his bond hearing tomorrow, which is Monday. And I will come back on tomorrow and let you all know what that bond hearing says and how much they're going to give him as his bond, or if they're going to give him a bond. And I don't think they should give him a bond because he had the baby in there when he, that's child endangerment as well as child abuse. So please hit that subscribe button. Let's help me out here, people. Help me out. And hit the likes button. That helps me out. Please hit the likes button. And also, please comment on these videos too. That helps me out. I do engage in my comments. And hit the likes button and the bells button so you always know when I upload a video. My goal is to get me to 250 guys this week coming up if we can. So hit that subscribe button. And please keep your comments positive. And I don't like negative, comments coming on trying to critique my channel. So keep those to yourself. I don't need that. I didn't ask for it. But please comment. We can disagree about the topics that I talk about because we're not going to agree. But keep them coming. And again, hit the subscribe button. And thank you all so much for watching my channel. I will see you tomorrow because we will be on and see what they're talking about this bond, what they're going to give him. But until next time, bye.